There is something quietly powerful about the early hours of the morning. At 5 a.m., the world is still asleep, the noise is low, and distractions are few. This is not just a time on the clock, it is a mindset. Waking up early does not automatically make someone successful, but choosing to win the first hour of your day creates a strong foundation for winning the rest of it. When you wake up at 5 a.m., you are not just getting out of bed, you are making a statement to yourself. Who yourself? You are saying that your goals matter more than your comfort. Most people wait for motivation to arrive before they act, but disciplined people act first and let motivation follow. The early morning teaches this lesson beautifully. The bed feels warm, sleep feels sweet, yet you choose growth over ease. That small decision builds inner strength. The early morning is also a time of clarity. Throughout the day, our mind is pulled in many directions, messages, expectations, comparisons, and responsibilities. But at 5 a.m., the mind is fresh. This is the best time to connect with yourself, to think, to reflect, and to set your intentions. Even a few minutes of silence, prayer, meditation, or journaling can bring more peace than hours of restless activity later in the day. A 5 a.m. winning mindset is not about rushing, it is about aligning. When you plan your day early, you live intentionally instead of reacting to situations. You decide what deserves your energy before the world starts demanding it. This sense of control reduces stress and increases focus. You feel prepared, not pressured. Another powerful benefit of early mornings is consistency. Success is rarely the result of one big action. It is the result of small actions done daily. Waking up early creates space for habits that are easy to skip later. Exercise, learning, reading, or skill building. When these habits become part of your morning routine, growth becomes automatic. Most importantly, the 5 a.m. mindset builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. You start trusting yourself more. Life may not always be in your control, but your effort and attitude are. Waking up early reminds you daily that you can lead yourself, even when no one is watching. In the end, the real victory of the 5 a.m. mindset is not waking up early, it is waking up consciously. It is choosing progress over excuses, purpose over procrastination, and discipline over delay. When you win the morning, you quietly start winning your life. 5 a.m. is not just a time on the clock, it is a mindset of self-leadership and discipline. When the alarm rings at that hour, the real battle is not with sleep, it is with the mind. The mind immediately begins to negotiate. But just 5 more minutes. I will start tomorrow, I deserve rest. Choosing to get up at that moment is a powerful act of leadership over yourself. It is proof that you are not controlled by impulses, moods, or excuses, but guided by intention and purpose. Self-leadership begins when no one is watching. At 5 a.m., there is no audience, no praise, and no external pressure. The world is quiet, and so is validation. Waking up at this hour teaches you to do the right thing simply because it is right for your growth, not because someone else expects it. This builds inner integrity. You start respecting yourself more because you know you can be trusted with responsibility, even in moments of discomfort. Discipline is often misunderstood as punishment, but in reality, it is a form of self-care. When you wake up early, you are not being harsh on yourself. You are being honest with your dreams. Big goals require small sacrifices, and early mornings are one of the simplest yet most effective sacrifices you can make. Over time, this discipline spills into other areas of life. You become more punctual, more focused, and more consistent, not because you force yourself, but because your identity starts changing. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries, but as someone who does. The 5M mindset also trains you to respond instead of react. In life, challenges rarely announce themselves politely. They come suddenly, demanding quick decisions and emotional control. When you regularly practice discipline early in the morning, you strengthen your mental muscles. You learn how to stay calm in discomfort, how to move forward without waiting for perfect conditions. This ability becomes invaluable when facing stress, failure, or uncertainty later in the day. Another subtle power of this mindset is confidence rooted in effort, not comparison. When you wake up early and invest time in yourself, reading, learning, reflecting, or exercising, you stop measuring your life against others. You know you are doing your part. This inner assurance reduces jealousy and insecurity. You may still admire others, but you are no longer threatened by their success. because you are busy building your own foundation. Most people search for external motivation, videos, quotes, or encouragement. But the 5 a.m. mindset teaches you something deeper, self-generated motivation. Every morning you wake up early, you send a message to your brain that you are serious about your life. Over days and weeks, this creates momentum here. What was once difficult slowly becomes natural. Discipline turns into habit and habit turns into character. In the long run, success does not depend on intelligence, talent, or luck as much as it depends on self-leadership. The ability to guide yourself when it is uncomfortable, boring, or challenging is what separates growth from stagnation. The 5 a.m. mindset is a daily reminder that you are capable of leading your own life. When you master your mornings, you begin mastering yourself. And that is where true transformation begins. Waking up at 5 a.m. represents a quiet but powerful choice, choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Comfort always feels attractive in the moment. The bed is warm, the body is relaxed, and the mind convinces us that rest is necessary. Growth, on the other hand, feels demanding. It asks for effort, sacrifice, and patience. When you choose to rise early, you are training yourself to value what you want most over what feels easiest right now. Short-term comfort gives immediate pleasure, but it rarely gives lasting satisfaction. Sleeping a little longer may feel good for a few minutes, but it does not move your life forward. Long-term growth works differently. It often feels uncomfortable in the beginning, but it rewards you with confidence, clarity, and progress over time. The 5 a.m. choice becomes a daily reminder that meaningful results are created by consistent effort, not convenient decisions. This mindset slowly reshapes the way you approach life. You start recognizing comfort in many forms, not just sleep, but also procrastination, avoidance, and excuses. Waking up early teaches you that discomfort is not an enemy. It is a signal of growth. Each morning you step out of comfort. You become more comfortable with challenge. This ability is essential because life itself is unpredictable and growth always demands adaptability. Choosing growth over comfort also strengthens patience. Long-term goals do not show results immediately. You may wake up early for weeks without seeing dramatic changes. But discipline teaches you to trust the process rather than chase quick rewards. You learn to plant seeds without constantly digging them up to check if they are growing. This patience becomes a powerful life skill, helping you stay committed even when progress feels slow. Hoy! Another important shift this mindset creates is responsibility. When you wake up early to work on yourself, learning a skill, improving your health, or reflecting on your habits, you stop blaming circumstances for your situation. You accept that while you cannot control everything, you can control your effort. This sense of ownership brings maturity. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what can I do better today? The 5 a.m. habit also protects you from regret. Many people reach a stage in life where they realize they had time but used it casually. Early mornings give you extra hours that are focused and distraction-free. Using this time wisely reduces the feeling of wasted potential. Even on difficult days, you can go to sleep knowing you invested in yourself, and that feeling brings deep inner peace. Choosing long-term growth over comfort also influences your self-image. Over time, you start seeing yourself as someone who is disciplined and committed. This identity shift is powerful because behavior follows identity. Once you believe you're someone who prioritizes growth, your decisions naturally align with that belief. You begin making better choices in other areas, health, relationships, and work, without forcing it. Ultimately, success is not about avoiding comfort completely, but about placing it in the right order. Comfort is best enjoyed after effort, not before it. The 5M mindset teaches you this balance. By sacrificing a little comfort in the morning, you earn a deeper, more meaningful comfort in life. The comfort of knowing you are becoming the best version of yourself, one disciplined morning at a time. Winning the first hour of your day has a powerful influence on everything that follows. The way you begin your morning quietly programs your mind for the rest of the day. When you wake up late and rush through the morning, your mind stays in survival mode. You react to situations, feel pressured by time, and carry a sense of chaos with you. But when you win the first hour, you shift from reaction to intention. And that shift changes your entire experience of the day. The first hour after waking up is when the mind is most fresh and receptive. Thoughts are clearer, emotions are calmer, and distractions are minimal. Using this time wisely creates a strong mental base. Instead of immediately checking your phone or jumping into noise, you give your mind direction. Whether you spend this hour in silence, reflection, learning, movement, or planning, you are telling your brain what truly matters. This clarity stays with you long after the hour has passed. Winning the first hour also builds emotional stability. Life is full of unexpected moments, delays, misunderstandings, pressure, and criticism. When your day starts without grounding, these situations feel heavier than they are. But when you begin your morning with calm and purpose, you carry an inner balance. Small problems remain small. You respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. This emotional control becomes one of your greatest strengths, both personally and professionally. Another important impact of the first hour is focus. Modern life constantly demands attention, pulling us in multiple directions at once. By choosing how you use your first hour, you train your attention instead of losing it. Reading a few pages, writing your thoughts, exercising, or reviewing your goals sharpens your concentration. As a result, when the day becomes busy, your mind does not scatter easily. You remain centered, even in a fast-moving environment. Winning the first hour also strengthens self-discipline. It is easier to stay disciplined later in the day when you have already kept a promise to yourself in the morning. This creates momentum. One good decision leads to another. You are more likely to eat well, manage your time better, and speak more thoughtfully because your day began with alignment. Discipline stops feeling like force and starts feeling like flow. The first hour also gives you a sense of personal victory. Even if the rest of the day brings challenges or setbacks, you know you started strong. This reduces stress and self-criticism. You stop defining your day only by outcomes and start valuing effort. That inner satisfaction builds resilience. You become less discouraged by external circumstances because your foundation is already solid. Most importantly, winning the first hour teaches you that your day belongs to you. Before the world makes its demands, you invest in yourself. This creates a feeling of ownership over your time and life. Over weeks and months, this practice reshapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who leads their day instead of chasing it. In the first hour is won consistently. Success stops feeling accidental and starts feeling intentional, flowing naturally from the way you begin each morning, naturally from the way you begin. Early mornings offer a rare gift that modern life often takes away: mental clarity and emotional calm. Throughout the day, the mind is constantly bombarded with information, opinions, responsibilities, and expectations. By the time evening arrives, mental fatigue sets in, making it difficult to think clearly or feel emotionally balanced. But in the early morning hours, especially around 5 a.m., the mind is still untouched by noise. This quiet space allows clarity to naturally rise. At this time, thoughts move slowly and gently. There's no urgency to respond to messages, no pressure to perform, and no comparison with others. The absence of external stimulation helps the mind settle. When the mind is calm, it becomes easier to observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You start noticing patterns: what worries you, what excites you, and what truly matters. This awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Mental clarity in the morning also improves decision making. Many poor decisions are made not because of lack of intelligence, but because of mental overload. When the mind is crowded, even simple choices feel confusing. Early mornings create space. In that space, priorities become clearer. You can think about your goals, your responsibilities, and your relationships with a balanced perspective. Decisions made in calmness are usually wiser and more aligned with long-term values. Emotional calm in the morning has a powerful ripple effect. When you start the day feeling centered, you carry that energy into every interaction. You listen better, speak more thoughtfully, and react less impulsively. Challenges still arise, but they do not disturb you as deeply. This calmness is not weakness, it is strength. It allows you to stay grounded even when situations become demanding. Early mornings also provide an ideal time for inner practices that nurture calm, such as silence, prayer, meditation, or slow breathing. These practices help release stored tension and reset the nervous system. Over time, they reduce anxiety and improve emotional stability. Instead of carrying yesterday's stress into today, you begin each day with a clean mental slate. Another subtle benefit of morning calm is creativity. A relaxed mind is more open and imaginative. Ideas flow more freely when there is no pressure to perform. Writers, thinkers, and problem solvers often experience their best insights in the early hours because the mind is relaxed yet alert. This combination is difficult to achieve later in the day when fatigue and distraction take over. Mental clarity also brings honesty with oneself. In the quiet of the morning, there is no escape from self-reflection. You see your habits clearly, both good and bad. This self-awareness is essential for growth. Without judging yourself harshly, you begin to understand where change is needed. Emotional calm allows you to accept imperfections without denial or self-criticism. As this clarity and calm become part of your routine, they transform your overall quality of life. You become less reactive, less anxious, and more present and more present. Life feels less overwhelming because your inner world is stable. Early mornings teach you that peace is not found by escaping responsibilities, but by preparing your mind before facing them. When clarity leads your day, confusion loses its power, and calm becomes your natural state. Discipline always comes before motivation, even though many people believe the opposite. Most individuals wait to feel inspired before taking action, hoping for a sudden wave of energy or enthusiasm. But real progress rarely begins with motivation. It begins with a decision. At 5 a.m., motivation is usually absent. The body feels heavy, the mind feels sleepy, and excuses appear easily. Choosing to act in that moment teaches a powerful lesson. You do not need to feel ready to move forward. Motivation is emotional and temporary. It rises when things feel exciting and disappears when they feel difficult. Discipline, however, is stable. It is the ability to do what needs to be done regardless of mood. Early mornings train this ability daily. When you wake up without motivation but still follow your routine, you prove to yourself that emotions do not control your actions. This sense of control builds inner strength and confidence. Action has a surprising effect on the mind. When you begin moving, stretching, reading, planning, or working, the mind slowly wakes up and aligns with the body. Motivation often arrives after you start, not before. This is why disciplined action creates inspiration. Once you see yourself showing up consistently, you begin to feel proud. That pride becomes motivation, but it is built on effort, not wishful thinking. This principle applies far beyond waking up early. In life, many important tasks feel uncomfortable at first. Learning a new skill, having a difficult conversation, or working toward a long-term goal. Waiting for motivation in these situations leads to delay and regret. Discipline teaches you to take the first step even when the path feels unclear. That first step often brings clarity and confidence. The 5 a.m. routine also reduces dependence on external motivation. You could do. Many people rely on videos, quotes, or encouragement from others to feel inspired. While these can be helpful, they are unreliable. Discipline builds internal drive. Each time you act despite resistance, you strengthen your self-belief. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, what needs to be done? This shift brings maturity and self-respect. Another benefit of disciplined action is momentum. One disciplined morning often leads to a disciplined day. When you begin the day by overcoming resistance, you are less likely to give in to distractions, later likely to give in to distractions later. You become more focused, more productive, and more mindful of your choices. Discipline creates a rhythm that carries you forward, even on difficult days. Over time, discipline reshapes identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, not someone who depends on mood. This identity change is powerful because it affects every area of life, health, relationships, and work. You trust yourself more because you have evidence of consistency. This trust reduces anxiety and self-doubt. Ultimately, discipline is an act of self-love. It is choosing what is good for you, even when it feels hard. The 5 a.m. mindset teaches that motivation is a result, not a requirement. When you act with discipline, motivation naturally follows. And once this understanding becomes part of your life, progress becomes steady, reliable, and deeply fulfilling. Planning the day early helps you live intentionally rather than reactively. Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They struggle because their days are controlled by circumstances instead of choices. When you wake up late or start the day without direction, you immediately begin responding to messages, demands, and situations. The day starts running you. Early planning reverses this dynamic and puts you back in control of your time and energy. In the quiet hours of the morning, the mind is calm enough to think clearly. This clarity allows you to see what truly deserves your attention. Instead of making a long, overwhelming to-do list, you begin identifying what actually matters. You can separate urgent from important, noise from value. This simple act of prioritizing creates a sense of purpose. When you know why you are doing something, effort feels lighter and distractions lose their pull. Living intentionally also means aligning actions with values. When you plan early, you are more likely to ask meaningful questions. What kind of person do I want to be today? How do I want to show up in my work, my family, and my interactions? These reflections guide behavior. Without planning, the day becomes a series of emotional reactions. With planning, it becomes an expression of who you are becoming. Early planning reduces stress in a powerful way. Much of our anxiety comes from uncertainty and mental clutter. When tasks remain unorganized, the mind keeps reminding you of everything you might forget. This constant mental noise drains energy. Writing things down or mentally structuring your day releases this burden. You stop carrying the entire day in your head and begin moving through it with ease and focus. Another benefit of planning early is better emotional regulation. When unexpected challenges arise, and they always do, you are less. Because you already know your priorities, you can adapt without panic. You respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This calm response earns trust from others and strengthens your self-confidence. You begin to feel capable, not overwhelmed. Intentional planning also protects your energy. Not every task deserves the same level of attention. When you plan in advance, you can schedule demanding work during your most productive hours and lighter tasks later. This prevents burnout and increases efficiency. Instead of feeling exhausted at the end of the day, you feel satisfied knowing your energy was spent wisely. Planning early also helps you set healthy boundaries. When your day has no structure, it is easy for others to claim your time. But when you know your commitments, it becomes easier to say no without guilt. You respect your time because you have already decided how to use it. This self-respect influences how others treat you as well. Over time, intentional living becomes a habit. You stop feeling like life is happening to you and start feeling like you are shaping it. Early planning teaches you that control does not come from controlling others or situations, but from controlling your response and preparation. When each day begins with intention, life feels more balanced, purposeful, and aligned with your true goals. Consistency is the quiet force behind every meaningful transformation. Big achievements often look impressive from the outside, but they are almost always built on small actions repeated day after day. The early morning creates a protected space where consistency can grow naturally. When you wake up at the same time each day and follow a simple routine, progress stops depending on mood, circumstances, or luck. It becomes dependable. Morning habits are powerful because they are less likely to be interrupted. As the day goes on, responsibilities multiply, energy drops, and unexpected situations arise. Tasks planned for later often get postponed or skipped. Early mornings remove these obstacles. By completing important habits before the world wakes up, you ensure that growth happens no matter how busy the day becomes. This reliability is what turns effort into results. Consistency also reduces mental resistance. In the beginning, starting a habit feels difficult because the mind questions it every day. But when a habit is tied to your morning routine, it becomes automatic. You no longer debate whether to exercise, read, or reflect. You simply do it. This automation saves mental energy and makes self-improvement feel natural instead of forced. Small, consistent actions create compound growth. A few pages of reading each morning may not feel significant, but over months it builds deep knowledge. A short daily workout gradually strengthens the body. A few minutes of reflection improves self-awareness. These changes are slow and often invisible at first, but they accumulate silently. One day you realize you have become stronger, wiser, and more disciplined without dramatic effort. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. Many people struggle with self-doubt because they have a history of starting and stopping. Each broken promise weakens confidence. Morning habits repair this relationship with yourself. When you show up daily, even for a short time, you prove that you can be relied upon. This self-trust becomes a foundation for taking on bigger challenges in life. Another benefit of consistent morning habits is emotional stability. When your day begins with familiar, grounding actions, it creates a sense of order. This routine provides comfort during uncertain times. Even when life feels chaotic, your morning remains steady. This stability improves resilience and reduces anxiety, helping you navigate challenges with greater calm. Consistency also shifts your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries occasionally and start seeing yourself as someone who shows up daily. Identity shapes behavior. Once you believe you are disciplined and committed, your actions naturally reflect that belief. You make healthier choices, manage time better, and approach goals with patience. Over time, consistent morning habits make success feel less dramatic and more natural. You stop chasing quick results and start trusting the process. Growth becomes part of your lifestyle rather than a temporary effort. The early morning quietly supports this transformation, proving that greatness is not created in bursts of intensity, but in steady, faithful repetition of simple habits. The quiet of the early morning strengthens focus and self-awareness in a way that is difficult to experience at any other time of the day. When the world is asleep, external distractions fade away. There are no urgent calls, no constant notifications, and no competing demands for attention. This silence is not empty, it is deeply nourishing. It gives the mind the space it needs to settle, observe, and concentrate. Focus improves when attention is not being pulled in multiple directions. During the day, even when we try to concentrate, the mind remains alert to interruptions. In the early morning, that background tension is absent. You can give your full attention to one activity without feeling rushed. Whether you are reading, planning, learning, or working on a personal goal, the mind stays present. This deep focus not only improves quality of work but also makes the experience more fulfilling. Self-awareness grows naturally in silence. When there is no noise outside, you begin hearing what is happening inside. Thoughts, emotions, and intentions become clearer. You start noticing how your mind behaves, what it fears, what it desires, and what it avoids. This awareness is powerful because it allows choice. Instead of being unconsciously driven by habits and emotions, you begin responding with understanding. Early morning quiet also encourages honesty with yourself. Throughout the day, we play many roles and meet many expectations. In silence, those roles fall away. You meet yourself without masks. This honest self-meeting can be uncomfortable at times, but it is essential for growth. It helps you recognize patterns that no longer serve you and strengths that you may have overlooked. The combination of focus and self-awareness improves emotional balance. When you understand your inner state, emotions lose their intensity. You become less reactive because you can see feelings as passing experiences rather than commands. This emotional maturity influences how you communicate, make decisions, and handle conflict. Calm awareness becomes your anchor. Another benefit of morning silence is clarity of purpose. When the mind is quiet, deeper questions naturally arise. What am I working toward? What truly matters to me? These reflections often get buried under daily noise. Early mornings bring them back to the surface. Over time, this clarity helps you align your actions with your values, making life feel more meaningful. The quiet also improves creativity. A focused, relaxed mind is more open to insight. Ideas flow without effort. Problems that seem complicated often find simple solutions in silence. Many creative breakthroughs happen not through force, but through stillness. Early mornings provide this stillness consistently. As focus and self-awareness strengthen, you begin carrying them into the rest of the day. Even in busy environments, a part of you remains centered. You listen better, work more efficiently, and respond thoughtfully. The quiet of the morning becomes an inner quiet that stays with you. This inner stillness is not an escape from life. It is a way of engaging with life more consciously, with clarity, depth, and calm attention. Keeping early morning promises builds deep self-trust and quiet confidence. Many people struggle not because they lack ability, but because they do not fully trust themselves. They have made plans before and failed to follow through, creating an inner doubt. Early mornings offer a powerful opportunity to heal this relationship with yourself, one small promise at a time. When you decide to wake up early and actually do it, you prove something important to yourself. Your words have value. Even if no one else knows about your effort, you know. This private victory matters more than public recognition. Each fulfilled promise strengthens your inner voice, replacing self-doubt with self-belief. Over time, this belief becomes the foundation of confidence. Self-trust is built through consistency, not perfection. Some mornings will feel harder than others, but showing up even when it feels uncomfortable sends a strong message to your mind. You begin to see yourself as dependable. This reliability changes how you approach challenges. Instead of questioning whether you can handle something, you focus on how to handle it. Early morning promises are especially powerful because they involve sacrifice. Giving up comfort requires effort, and effort creates value. When you honor a difficult promise, your confidence grows faster. You realize that you are capable of doing hard things. This realization extends beyond mornings into work, relationships, and personal goals. As self-trust grows, fear reduces. Many fears come from uncertainty about ourselves, our ability to cope, to persist, to succeed. When you regularly keep commitments to yourself, you develop inner security. You are less afraid of failure because you trust your effort. You know that even if things do not go perfectly, you will show up and try again. Early morning discipline also improves self-respect. Respect is not demanded, it is earned. When you respect your own commitments, you naturally treat yourself with greater care. This self-respect influences your choices. You become less willing to waste time, tolerate negativity, or settle for less than you deserve. You begin making decisions that reflect your worth. Another important effect of self-trust is resilience. Life will challenge you, and setbacks are inevitable. But when you trust yourself, setbacks do not break you. You do not give up easily because your identity is built on persistence. Early morning promises quietly reinforce this identity every day. Confidence built through self-trust is different from loud confidence. It does not need to prove itself. It is calm and steady. Others can sense it in your actions and words. You speak with clarity, listen with patience, and act with conviction. This confidence attracts opportunities and strengthens relationships. Over time, these small morning victories reshape how you see yourself. You are no longer someone who hopes to improve. You are someone who follows through. This shift is life-changing. When you trust yourself, you become your own strongest support system, and that inner strength guides you forward with courage and calm determination. When you win your mornings regularly, success begins to feel like a natural outcome rather than a random stroke of luck. Most people believe that success depends on external circumstances, connections, opportunities, or sudden inspiration. But the reality is far simpler and more powerful. Success is built on small, consistent choices repeated over time. Waking up early and using those quiet hours intentionally is one of the most reliable ways to create these choices and set yourself on a path of continual growth. Winning your mornings is essentially about creating a habit of intentional action before the world demands anything from you. When you consistently start your day with focus, discipline, and purpose, you build momentum that carries into everything else. The morning becomes a foundation, a stable platform on which the rest of your day, and ultimately your life, is built. This momentum is subtle at first. It may be just a few minutes of meditation, journaling, reading, or exercise, but over weeks and months, these small actions compound into remarkable results. Success achieved this way is more sustainable because it is rooted in preparation, not luck. People often chase success without creating the internal conditions to support it. They wait for opportunities to appear or for motivation to strike. Winning your mornings teaches a different truth. Opportunity is often created by action, and motivation follows action, not the other way around. By consistently showing up, you make yourself ready for the moments that others are unprepared for. Another important aspect of winning mornings is that it strengthens resilience. Life is unpredictable, full of unexpected setbacks and challenges. When you have already invested in your growth early in the day, you enter difficult situations with a sense of inner strength. You have already proven to yourself that you can act under discomfort, remain disciplined, and prioritize what matters. This inner proof becomes a reservoir of confidence and courage you through obstacles. Winning mornings also improves clarity of vision. The quiet hours allow you to reflect on goals, values, and priorities without distractions. You start each day with awareness, understanding what truly matters and what does not. This clarity ensures that your actions are aligned with your long-term objectives rather than being dictated by short-term pressures or external expectations. When your efforts are directed intentionally, results become inevitable. Consistency in winning mornings cultivates self-leadership. Success is rarely about external authority. It is about your ability to lead yourself. Every morning you rise early and act deliberately. You are practicing self-leadership. You are teaching yourself to stay disciplined, focused, and purposeful regardless of circumstances. This internal mastery translates into every area of life, career, relationships, health, and personal growth. Furthermore, winning your mornings fosters a mindset of control and ownership. Instead of feeling like life is happening to you, you start feeling like life is happening because of you. You take responsibility for your time, energy, and priorities. This sense of ownership is empowering. It allows you to approach challenges creatively rather than reactively, making success a byproduct of your consistent conscious choices. The impact is also psychological. When you look back at a day that started with intentionality, you experience a sense of accomplishment, regardless of what challenges the rest of the day brought. This daily reinforcement of progress strengthens your confidence and motivation. You start trusting your ability to shape outcomes through effort, and that trust compounds into long-term success. Finally, winning your mornings transforms identity. When you consistently act with purpose before the world demands anything from you, you begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer someone waiting for success to happen. You are someone who creates it. Your actions define your identity, and identity shapes destiny. By mastering your mornings, you quietly, steadily, and consistently master your life, turning small daily victories into lasting success that is both inevitable and deeply fulfilling. When you consistently wake up early and invest in yourself, you begin to understand the true value of time. Time is the most precious resource we have, yet it is often taken for granted. Many people live as though they have endless hours, only to realize later that life slipped by in distraction and routine. The 5 a.m. mindset teaches a profound lesson. How you start your day defines how you spend your life, and mastering the morning is a way of mastering time itself. The early hours are unique because they are free from external demands. Most of the world is still asleep, meaning there are fewer interruptions, fewer obligations, and less pressure to perform. This quiet allows you to use your time deliberately. Every minute spent in reflection, exercise, reading, or planning is time invested in your growth rather than time lost to distraction. It is a form of compound interest on life. Small investments made consistently yield enormous returns over time. When you honor your mornings, you learn to prioritize what truly matters. Life is full of activities that feel urgent but are often trivial. Without conscious effort, these distractions dominate our day. By starting your day early and intentionally, you focus first on what aligns with your values and long-term goals. You reclaim control over your schedule and refuse to let urgency overshadow importance. This practice gradually rewires your sense of purpose, teaching you that time spent wisely is time spent well. Waking up early also increases productivity in ways that few other habits can. There is a natural flow to morning energy. The mind is fresh, the body is rested, and concentration comes more easily. Tasks that feel tedious or overwhelming later in the day can be approached with focus and efficiency in the morning. This focused attention not only helps you accomplish more, but also enhances the quality of your work, creating a sense of accomplishment that fuels further action. Valuing time through early mornings also builds discipline and self-respect. Every time you wake up when your body wants to rest, you honor a commitment to yourself. This act is small but powerful. It demonstrates that your personal goals and growth are worth effort. Over time, this builds a habit of integrity. You follow through on what you say you will do, even when it is uncomfortable. This integrity becomes a defining feature of your character, influencing how you handle responsibilities in all areas of life. Moreover, understanding the value of time reduces procrastination. Many people delay important work because they feel they have time more that they will do it later. Early mornings teach that time is finite. The earlier you begin, the more you realize the cost of delay. This awareness encourages action over hesitation and decision over indecision. Procrastination is replaced with momentum, and momentum compounds into achievement. Time awareness also strengthens gratitude. When you see each morning as an opportunity, each hour becomes meaningful. You begin to appreciate that life is made up of these small windows of potential, and every moment spent intentionally contributes to a larger purpose. This mindset shifts your focus from scarcity, worrying about time lost, to abundance, recognizing the potential in each moment. Finally, consistently valuing your mornings transforms your relationship with life itself. You stop feeling like time controls you and start feeling that you control time. You control time. Each day begins with purpose, clarity, and energy. Over months and years, this practice accumulates, shaping not only your accomplishments but also your identity. You become someone who respects time, acts deliberately, and lives with intention. Mastering your mornings teaches mastery over your life, demonstrating that how you start each day directly impacts the quality, success, and fulfillment of your entire journey. When you wake up early and consistently dedicate time to yourself, you begin to understand the profound power of presence and reflection. In a world filled with constant noise, social media, messages, emails, and endless obligations, it is easy to lose touch with your inner self. The early morning offers a rare window of solitude, a space where you can be fully present with your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. This presence is not just peaceful, it is transformative. Being present in the morning allows you to start your day consciously rather than unconsciously. Many people drift through their mornings reacting to external pressures, checking their phones, replying to messages, or rushing through routines without awareness. When you dedicate this time intentionally, you shift from autopilot to mindfulness. You observe thoughts without judgment, you notice your emotions without being controlled by them, and you set your intentions before the world begins demanding your attention. This practice cultivates emotional balance and mental clarity. Reflection during early hours also strengthens self-understanding. In the quiet of the morning, you can ask meaningful questions. What are my goals today? How do I want to show up? What habits are helping or hindering me? These reflections provide insight into your patterns, values, and priorities. Without this time, these questions often go unasked, leaving you reactive and scattered. Morning reflection allows you to approach the day with clarity and purpose, aligning your actions with your deeper objectives. The early morning is particularly effective for reflection because the mind is free from accumulated stress and distractions. When the day begins, your thoughts are not yet clouded by deadlines, conflicts, or fatigue. This mental freshness enhances the depth and quality of reflection. Ideas and solutions that might feel elusive later in the day often surface effortlessly during this quiet time. The stillness acts as a mirror, revealing both your potential and the areas that need attention. Reflection and presence also improve decision-making. When you begin your day mindfully, you are less likely to react impulsively to situations. Instead of being driven by emotion or habit, you respond with awareness. This intentional approach reduces mistakes and prevents unnecessary stress. By observing yourself and your priorities in the morning, you can plan actions that align with long-term goals, not just short-term comfort or immediate convenience. Morning presence fosters gratitude. When you take even a few moments to quietly observe your life, you begin to appreciate what you often overlook: health, relationships, opportunities, and simple comforts. This gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Instead of starting the day with complaints or distractions, you start with awareness and appreciation, which colors the rest of your day positively. Another benefit of early reflection is emotional resilience. By checking in with yourself before external pressures arise, you develop a sense of grounding. You understand your emotions and are better equipped to manage stress throughout the day. Challenges become opportunities for growth rather than sources of frustration, because you have already anchored yourself in awareness and calm. Finally, cultivating presence and reflection every morning gradually transforms your identity. You stop living reactively and start living consciously. Your actions, relationships, and decisions reflect thoughtfulness rather than impulsiveness. Over time, this inner awareness becomes second nature. You are no longer swept away by external circumstances. Instead, you respond with intention, clarity, and calm. The practice of winning your mornings with presence and reflection does more than improve productivity. It reshapes who you are and how you navigate life, creating a foundation for consistent growth, purpose, and fulfillment.